basically talked about the D-line and how much he's felt like it's improved this year. He talked specifically about Leonard Floyd's improvement from the first time they faced the Rams to the second. Now, what I also will say is neither team or both teams performed really well on defense, and neither offense did much.
Yep.
But he suggested that he wanted the entire line back, and that Nick Sorensen has been doing a good job, and that he hopes Nick Sorensen is back. And Nick Bosa said last year that he thought Steve Wilkes was messing up, and then Steve Wilkes was gone. So a lot
Yeah.
of times when Bosa wants something, that's what goes. We've also seen Kyle himself stand up for Sorensen and said that he thought Sorensen was doing a good job, and that was earlier. Like, it feels like the defense actually has gotten a little better the last couple games. When
100%. Yeah.
Kyle made that comment, the defense looked like booty cheeks.
Yep.
So, do you think that Nick Sorensen is going to be the defensive coordinator next year?
Yeah.
Should he be?
I think he will be, and I think he should be, and I think it ties into what you were just saying about the improvement from that defense. Like, the fact that there was, in my opinion, the best wide receiver duo in the league in Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. I'm 100% to be told I'm wrong on that. That's what I think.
That's fine.
think
I talked about that going into the game. I was
Yeah.
like, they're going to get off on you. They just did.
Exactly. And the fact that Cooper Kupp, he didn't get one catch. Puka, he had a good game, but that was the only part of their offense that was really like that awesome, other than Kyron Williams. He was good too. But I think that was a huge improvement. And I think Greenlaw coming back and Hufanga being back, that obviously helped Sorensen's case. But I think he's kind of proven now that he can do things. Do I trust him 100%? No, not at all. Like, I do not trust him because of that first half of the year. The first half of the year, the defense kind of looked stinky. They were not as good as they are now. But
you go back to Saleh's first year, and it wasn't pretty right away either.
Nope.
Not to say that he's going to end up being Saleh, but maybe that initial year when you're transferring, it was really seamless from Saleh to D'Amico, but D'Amico was like really working with them. I know apparently Nick Sorensen was the ball taught them about ball security or whatever.
Yeah,
but I don't
he's
think
had so
he
many
was
roles.
as involved as D'Amico and Saleh were.
Yeah, he was more isolated into like smaller roles. Like, I'm pretty sure he was a cornerback coach, I believe, and stuff like that. But I think really, like, you can't move on from a guy that's showing improvement, and it doesn't really add up to me. The only reason that I would be good with moving on with Sorensen would be if it involved bringing Saleh back. But it wouldn't be fully moving on from Sorensen. I would still want him with the team because I think he's shown he can do it. I just wouldn't want him in the role that he's in. But even then, like, having Saleh back, that kind of stirs up more questions of like, well, how is that going to be within the locker room? Like, is the team going to really rock with that? And it's kind of hard to like know that without being there, of course. But
I feel like they'd love to have Saleh back. That's
I think so
my
too.
one critique. No, I mean, I've had a lot. Let's not say one. I've had quite some.
Yeah.
But maybe my biggest thing that I think if Kyle is to remain the head coach, I think he needs an energizer and an emotional intunement coach. And when you looked at D'Amico and you looked at Robert Saleh, they were on the field, they were cheering, they were like, they were one that was connecting with the players and kind of meeting them in that element when Kyle was just locked into his play sheet.
They need a hype man.
That when Steve Wilkes was hired, he would be more of that because he was the interim coach for the Panthers for like half that year and felt like people had talked really highly about him. And then he saw Steve Wilkes and he was also much more of a mellow guy, which it's not bad to be mellow, but I think you want to look for coaches that complement each other. Now, Nick Sorensen is also more mellow, but the players seem to be behind him. They were he was Bosa's choice, and now Bosa is standing behind him again. So,
see, now you've got me with a funny thought, though. What if the key to this team is getting a guy like that security guard on the Eagles? You know, like that character that's just like super loud. You know?
Yes, that's what makes them run. God,
see, who needs all these $60 million players when you can just have a security guard that's going to be like, let's go. You know, that seems perfect.
Oh my God. That guy's so ridiculous, and he's still like, I swear, once a month I see some headline on Twitter where he's like fighting a fan or something.
Oh yeah, Big Dom's in everything. He's always in something, which is just hilarious.
But no, I kind of agree with you. I think if there's an opportunity to bring Saleh back, I don't know if Saleh wants to come back. He's been working with the Packers, and from everything that we heard, Kyle did reach out to him when he was let go. Now, maybe it was just, condolences on being let go, but I'm sure, he probably asked what his plans were and stuff. And Saleh chose to go to Green Bay, and he's been
Yeah.
helping their defense out. So we heard a lot. If you guys remember that Flying Coach podcast where they had Mike McDaniel, they had Sean McVay, Kyle. They had a lot of those guys that had worked with Kyle, and Kyle has like surveillance in his building. He's a hard ass and very strict and runs things a very specific way.
He's a
And
little bit of a freak with it.
I can see it being something that like when you're coming into the NFL, that amount of pressure and structure and need to, prove yourself could be beneficial because it makes you like so ultra prepared and on your shit. But I think after you've kind of gone off on your own, you've been a head coach, I think it would be hard to be like, now I'm going to go back and basically be this guy's, bitch boy and answer to him again.
Yeah, I think that's probably why he took the thing in Green Bay. Was like, okay, like I can kind of get something new here with somebody that I know because he obviously knows LaFleur. Um, so I wasn't really shocked about that, and it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't want to come back because of all those reasons. It would make sense.
This is interesting because I feel like the general sentiment is kind of that these next 3 games don't matter that much. Unless you're holding on to that 1% chance that the 49ers are going to make it to the playoffs, baby. Um,
Stop if you are. Just stop. Save
but
yourself the pain.
I like this comment. If the defense controls the Lions, keeps the scoreboard within reach, I think Sorensen keeps his job. If it gets lopsided, then no. Obviously, the Lions have been scoring, 40 plus on people. Now, the Lions are in a horrible situation. You want to talk about a team that actually I feel like should have that injury excuse. They're missing, I'm not joking, 15 defensive players,
Yep.
and now Montgomery's going to be out for the season. They are a team, and by the way, up until just this last game, they were winning those games with their third, four string players on the field. Like, what an impressive team. It definitely sucks, in my opinion. I don't know why I'm rooting for them. I'm not like a Lions fan, but I feel like any team, I felt this way about the Jaguars, like any team that's just sucked for so bad or for so long, it's like I can't help but be like, oh yeah, like, when you're like an underdog, you kind of want them to do good.